Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to my latest review in my Star Wars series. Today we're looking at The Empire Strikes Back, which is the second movie in the original trilogy and the fifth movie chronologically. This movie came out in 1980 and is one that I have really fond memories of. I got my first Star Wars toy based off of this movie. It was a Luke Skywalker in Hoth gear toy figure, and it is one I treasure to this day, and it is currently sat somewhere in the loft with all of my other Star Wars memorabilia and toys. But moving on, if you haven't already cut the other movies in my series, I'll put a link up here for you to click on the playlist. Please check that out, and if you've not subscribed already, do so by hitting the link down below, because there's more movies in this series, more movie reviews on the whole coming out on a regular basis. So Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. It was directed by Irvin Kershner and starred the trilogy's core cast. So we have Mark Hamill, Carrie, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, David Prowse, to name but a few. And this movie introduced the character of Lando Calrissian, played by Billy Dee Williams. Empire Strikes Back starts off in stark contrast with the previous movie. We start off on the ice planet of Hoth. Previous movie we had desert planet Tatooine. Here we've got an ice planet of Hoth, and it starts with an absolutely amazing action sequence where the Imperials are attacking a rebel base on this ice planet. From there, after an amazing ground battle, the rebels make their escape and head off. The Millennium Falcon is having problems with its hyperdrive, so Han Solo heads it off towards Cloud City after a few skirmishes with the Imperial forces, and Luke Skywalker heads to the Dagobah system in his X-Wing fighter. There he meets Yoda, the Jedi Master, who apparently trained Ben Kenobi, but that kind of ignores Qui-Gon Jinn. But hey, what? We'll go with it. So Yoda trained Ben Kenobi. He was a master, I suppose, on the council. But anyway, so Luke Skywalker meets Yoda, and after a few issues where Yoda says that Luke is too impatient, he doesn't want to take anything seriously, he's always wishing about running off to the stars, and he doesn't focus on the here and now, and he's too old for the training. I'm sure they said that about Anakin too. Yoda eventually trains Luke, and Luke gets put through his paces with his Jedi training. Upon this training, he has visions of his friends in danger. So Luke, against Yoda's wishes and against Ghost Ben Kenobi's wishes, goes to save his friends. And this is where the film really kicks into high gear. On Cloud City, Lando Calrissian has made a deal with Darth Vader and the Imperial forces, and he basically betrays Han, Leia, Chewbacca and the droids by handing them over to Darth Vader. Han is put into a freezer and then placed in carbonite and given to the bounty hunter Boba Fett to take to Jabba the Hutt, because Han has a price on his head. Leia and the others are then forced to stay on Cloud City until Vader changes the plan, and then he wants to take them for himself. So Luke finally gets to Cloud City after Han has been taken away, and Leia sees Luke and tries to warn him that it's a trap. But Luke continues, and ultimately he faces Darth Vader. Now, this is the first time Luke has faced Darth Vader. He did see him in the distance briefly in the last movie, but this is the first time the two have come face to face. So we get an epic lightsaber battle between Luke and Vader, and essentially Luke eventually loses his hand. Vader chops Luke's arm straight off. Vader tells Luke that he's his father, and Luke, in denial, gets upset and jumps off a platform at the top of Cloud City and ultimately ends up in some exhaust port before falling down to the bottom of Cloud City and hanging off the bottom of an antenna. Luke calls for Ben to help him, but nothing happens, so he calls for Leia, and something propels Leia, who has just escaped Cloud City with Lando's help, to turn the Millennium Falcon around and go and rescue Luke. They know exactly where he is because Leia has seen this. Has she got insights into the Force? Ultimately they save Luke, who is hanging precariously from an antenna on the bottom of Cloud City. Vader attempts to capture Luke back because the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive, which was fixed, has been deactivated again by the Imperials, but R2-D2 manages to fix the hyperdrive. They head off in light speed away from the Imperial forces, and they rendezvous on a medical ship. Luke has a mechanical hand fitted and it looks exactly like his other one, but he wears a black glove over it, so it's starting to look a little bit like what his father did in the previous movies, and that is pretty much where the movie finishes. Luke is stood on the station waving goodbye to Lando Calrissian and Chewbacca, who are going to look for Han. and Leia is stabbed by his side with a droid. That is, in essence, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, what did I actually think of the movie? Well, this movie is absolutely one of my favourites of the series. I must admit, this is probably the best movie in the series. Now, for personal reasons and the fact that Star Wars was the one I used to play over and over and over as a kid, that one will always be my favourite, but this is a very, very close second. It is a better movie than the original Star Wars. More happens in it, and it's a darker movie, and we get to see the characters put in certain amounts of danger. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. We get to see a little bit more about the character, we're learning more about the characters, and they're put in positions that really do test them. So in that respect, I do think this movie is a lot better than the original. The score is fantastic, the direction by Irvin Kershner is brilliant, and like I said with the original Star Wars, you wouldn't know by watching this movie today that it was filmed so many years ago. The special effects look fantastic, and I'm talking about the original version, I'm not talking about the George Lucas tinkered versions which were put out extensively. The movie looks absolutely fantastic, the model work is so intricate and fantastical, and it just looks, to this day, like it could have been made recently. It looks fantastic. The score, as always, by John Williams is brilliant and adds so much to the movie. Performances, I can't fault anybody in the movie. It just, I can't tear it down. Being objective, there must be something about the movie that is subpar, but honestly, I can't think of anything. I watched this earlier today, and the 2 hours went just like that. I was so engrossed that the movie just absorbed me into the world. And it's very rare that a movie will do that these days, even with new movies. This is a movie I've seen hundreds of times, but it drew me into that world. I was absolutely there, and the very fact that I was so invested in these characters, even knowing the story and what comes next, that is a testament to the movie writing, the direction, and the acting. So I can give The Empire Strikes Back nothing less. Oops. So I can give The Empire Strikes Back nothing less than a full 5 out of 5. I absolutely adore this movie, and here's hoping that The Last Jedi that comes out in December will be The Empire Strikes Back to Force Awakens. This is to the original Star Wars, because if The Last Jedi is anything like this as a second film in a trilogy, we've got something to look forward to. So, fingers crossed. So there we go, guys, thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not done so already, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you really soon for my next review in this series, which will be Return of the Jedi.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
And I'll see you really soon for my next review in this series, which will be Return of the Jedi. Thanks for watching. Bye.